Why is wildcrafting good for you? Even if you don't like nature, and even if you've said, I will never eat leaves and berries from the outside, never. Even if you've said these things, I'm going to give you 5 good reasons why you should be wildcrafting. And you want to know something? You don't even have to eat the leaves. Hello, and welcome to A Curious, Wonderful Nature, the broadcast that'll help us find joy and wonder in the small things of life through foraging, citizen science, folklore, nature, and mythology. I'm your host, Quinn. Welcome. So if that sounds interesting to you, please hit the notification bell, like, and subscribe. I was inspired by a video that YETI put out for wildcrafting cocktails. I'll link that video below. It starred Brad Leone and the Black Forager herself, Alexis Nikole Nelson. Shout out to those two for making an informative and entertaining video documenting their search for materials for a wild-crafted cocktail. Go see it. So let's start off with what that word means. Wildcrafting, or to wildcraft. So I use the term forage. So foraging and wildcrafting are actually the same thing. The difference being that foraging usually refers to finding plants and herbs and berries for nutritional purposes, for food purposes, where wildcrafting will usually refer to finding herbs and plants for their medicinal purposes or for even magical purposes. So I may go back and forth using foraging and wildcrafting, but I mean the same thing. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why wildcrafting is for you. Number 1, being in a natural environment is good for your overall health. It's good for your mental health. It's good for your physical health. That means it helps improve your focus. It helps to reduce your stress. And we know that stress leads to a lot of hypertension, and hypertension can lead to a host of other metabolic syndrome issues. Another thing that being in nature will do is to boost your mood. It makes you happier, makes you more content. As it relates to foraging, that's what you're doing. You're out in nature, and you're usually out in some natural setting for an extended period of time. So one of the benefits of foraging then becomes that improvement of overall health. Being in a natural environment doesn't just mean going to the woods or going to the countryside or to a beach vacation. Even in urban natural settings, you can experience some health improvements. So if you don't want to go to the woods to start your foraging adventures, go to the park. Parks are easy. Take some time to go to a park. Take advantage of some of those benefits. Here's the second reason why I think wildcrafting is for you. It makes you an explorer. It allows you to become an explorer, and sometimes in your own backyard or not far from your backyard or your apartment or your home, your house, wherever that may be. And even if you are not near the woods, it could be something that you're finding when you're in a park. Think of it as a treasure hunt. One really great thing from this being an explorer is that being able to slow down and be able to see more than you usually do in your rushed day-to-day life, like going to work for a commute, or even if you're not going, you're commuting for work, maybe just rushing to a grocery store, rushing to take care of kids, rushing to take care of parents. It allows you to slow down and allows you to get in touch with nature more. It allows you to kind of see things that you haven't seen before because maybe you didn't take the time to see it. And that's something else with foraging. It does allow you to take some time. Number 3, third reason why wildcrafting is for you. It allows you to actually start to become curious about some of the things that you see. You start to see more things because your attention is starting to kind of expand. Your attention is starting to grow. And with that, you start to see things that you haven't seen. And then you start asking questions. What is that? I've never seen that before. Can you eat it? Is it poisonous? What can you do with that? Why is this all over the place? And hopefully you start to act on that curiosity. The 4th reason why wildcrafting is for you. You start to discover more plants, more animals, more fungi, more trees. Foraging is a process. It is something that you develop over time. And as I mentioned earlier, it's something that you get to slow down with. And you start to have this kind of almost a routine, kind of the places that you start to go back to. You start to develop curiosity because maybe you've started for one specific plant or one specific fungus. You then start to see other plants, other fungi, other even small animals and trees. All of the things that make the ecosystem within which you live actually work. You start to see different animals that you just never noticed. I'll give you an example. I was very fortunate to live near probably one of the largest parks in New York City. And on the path to that park, I was able to see what I thought were hummingbirds. And it was a full stand of bee balm. As I looked closely, I noticed it actually wasn't a bird. It was actually an insect that kind of mimicked the hummingbird. It's called a hummingbird moth. Really beautiful insects. I mean, and I know I've got people out there who are like, ooh, I don't like insects. And yes, I don't want to have moths in my home either. But when they're outside, they're gaining food and nectar for their sustenance. I really appreciate that. I really enjoy being able to discover that. So being able to see different plants and animals and trees that I hadn't noticed before is the 4th reason that I think wildcrafting is for you. The 5th reason why I think wildcrafting is for you is because you start to gain that sense of wonder that you left behind when you were a child. I'm going to say that again. You start to regain that sense of wonder that you may have left behind when you were a child. Some way, somehow, as we get older, we lose that kind of sense of awe. We lose that sense of like magic that we see in the world around us. And I believe that wildcrafting, or being in that process of trying to find something for your concoctions, whether they're cocktails, whether it's for breakfast, whether it's for medicine, you start to see the wonder and the magic that's in nature. And I do think that is such an important part of being a human being, to be able to see how extraordinary nature is all around us. That was my fifth and final reason why I think wildcrafting is for you. And see, you didn't even have to eat any leaves this time. All right, so there are a lot of things that I would like to dive a bit more deeply into in my next video. So I do hope that you like, share, and subscribe. And take a look at the links that I mentioned earlier below. So thank you for spending some time at A Curious Wonderful Nature. Bye for now.